Let me see. We had a cancellation at the last minute, so this will give us a chance to spend quite some time together this morning. So you have to put up with me here. I've literally got stacks to go through, but I really would like to catch up with you because you guys are really putting in some great questions. And not that I can answer everything on the planet, but boy, I sure try as much as I know, to cover this with you. And I really appreciate your concerns and all your activities you're doing on yourselves. And I love it all. I can't say enough about you guys. I feel a real good bond with all of you guys. Are really doing a great job. So keep it up. And I'm just going to kind of wake up by tearing into these things, so to speak, here. And I went over these last night till late, and so I'm just wanted to highlight some of the areas so when I go through them here. But boy, do I appreciate it, and I hope you all are doing well. I don't know when Chris is going to get this up. I know he's about 3 behind right now. He was 3 behind yesterday. I think he got 1 up, and then I did 1 yesterday morning. So we'll see where we are with this. So I hope you get it sooner than later. So let me start going through these for you guys, and really appreciate it again, all your work that you're doing on yourself. This is Melanie, 25-year-old Swedish lady, Miss Ross, Sweden. Go, go, go. She had low white blood cell count. And then she started working with picking nettles, and suddenly the white blood cell count came up. Now, I don't know what relationship nettles would have with that. Again, there was a comment made here, which I really loved that comment about the herbs and the fact that herbs have many purposes we don't even know. Nettles is a homeostatic. It stops bleeding. I definitely have it in my kidney formulas because it promotes urination. It reduces swelling. Stinging nettles has always been great for skin conditions and toxic poisons and things like this. But I don't think there's enough said about nettles. Nutritionally, it's very high. It just, it's good for everything. It's high in iron. And so maybe there is some link there. I can't tell you about that. When I look at low white blood cells, I'm looking at spleen or I'm looking at the bone marrow. And any tissue that you're having problems with, you always know you're going to go right back to the lymphatic system, because even if these are genetic weaknesses, that's the system that you have to invigorate. That's the system that is the most problematic. That's the system that actually is the causative factors genetically. Rarely is it at the blood. And even if it is, to get to the lymph, you've got to eat the foods that clean up the blood. And then the herbs that clean up the lymph system definitely clean up the blood. So how simple and how beautiful this is. And I'm seeing a lot of you guys really catching this, realizing the simplicity of it. And there was a comment, I can't remember, it was Owen or JG or whatever, about the the simplicity and the intellectualism of the allopathic community, and how that's actually created so much more problems that we face, and locked us in some real serious issues here. But let me see, they did the bone marrow test, which is what they would have done when you're low white blood cells. I thought that was interesting about the nettles. So you have to see. I find if that's true, that's fascinating. So what I'm going to do for you is that we have a lot of people come in here with low white blood cell count. And so I'm going to experiment with nettles and see if that does. I think that would be a tremendous find, if that was true, because we have so many people with that issue. And you would think that if that's increases bone marrow function, that'd be outstanding. I just think this is how herbology's won, and I think that's why. Think of millions of people using botanicals and learning and finding about them. Now I use formulas, which for me it's more powerful, as you guys have seen. But I still lose the individuality in the sense that what all does this one herb do? But in my clinic, we're just, you see the people that suffer that come in here, and you can see by the comments like Kelly's, I don't mess around. So I don't spend time, well, let's see what this one will do. I just don't have that kind of time right now, and most of you that come in here don't have that kind of time to play around. So it needs to be a bigger scope where the people aren't so serious, even though low white blood cell count is serious, don't get me wrong. But you know, where some experimentation can be one, or where people like yourself, Melanie, is playing with nettles and suddenly your white blood cell came out. Not to say that there's a link, but certainly has to be looked at, because of the fact that they were low before you did that and they were normal after you did that. I mean, you know, you're really going to look at that. So I really think that's an incredible thing if this is true again. Let me see what else she's got going on here. She says, and also she has a hard time holding herself to pee. She's had a headache every day on the side of my left ear for 1.5 years. The doctor don't know why, so they did a magnetic x-ray. Of course, didn't find anything. Don't worry about your bad English, sweetheart. Mine ain't so good either. Who cares? So you know what? I'm looking at this, and you know, I'm wondering about pituitary. You got a headache up here. You kind of have a hard time holding urination. That can be pituitary. Could have a link toward the white blood cells, and that nettles could have had an effect upon your pituitary by reducing inflammation of the pituitary, and therefore it allowed the white blood cells to go up. So you correlate these cases, all these different parts when you're working on your friends or you're working on your clients. You want to correlate every single thing your client tells you or about yourself. You want to correlate positions of the body, and then it's easy to understand because we only have a few glands here and a few glands there and an organ here and an organ there. So this is too difficult to really start putting things together here. So this would lead you up into her head area with the pain on this side, real possible pituitary issues here, because that pituitary stem can affect the need to urinate all the time. Have another guy in here, same type of problem. Again, that also could be back to the adrenals and kidneys, of course. That could be a weakness there that's controlling, you know, back to the lymph system suppressing bone marrow. This is where the value of the iris comes in, and maybe I can cut here and get Chris. I wanted to answer this one question, so maybe I'll get Chris in here after a bit, and we'll show you the difference between a true brown eye and a blue eye that's brown. But so anyway, you want to correlate as much of this as you can. In reality, the simplicity of this is that you're going to be able to clean the body head to toe, because this is a holistic, a systemic issue. The body works holistically. You can't just give you something for the liver and just the liver benefit. The body will benefit head to toe. So that's the coolness of this whole thing. And so, but real suspicious here, the pituitary here now, with the white blood cells, with the need to urinate excessively, and the headaches could pull you up here. Now, why would this be happening? Or why would it say you had swelling? And nettles is an anti-inflammatory, so to reduce swelling. It's an alkalizer herb. So high in alkalizing minerals. So what's the problem? That'd be the lymph system, wouldn't it? Blood wouldn't make things swell. Blood doesn't cause inflammation. It's your lymph system. It's acids. So this goes back to either way, you're going to definitely work on your lymph system. Get your colon cleaned up, work on the stomach and bowel formula, do 2 lymphatic formulas. I'd start with, say, lymphatic 4. Matter of fact, this is where I'm going to take a little time and explain to you, because there's a lot of questions here in regard to that. I'd probably start out with lymphatic 4, and then I would have lymphatic 1 capsules, and then I would also get upper circulation going up in there, and then you could go from there. You could also take a pituitary glandular, or you could in fact use the endocrine gland formula. Chase tree, a great berry for the pituitary, well known for female issues. So that's the line you can go. Of course, with the raw, you want to get up from the vegetables. I mean, I see this in my clients every day. The people that come in here, guy yesterday been raw for 2 years, still has major problems, but most of his diet's been vegetables over fruit. Now, I've been asked about these lymphatic formulas I have. And so let's talk about them for a minute before I go on with other cases. These lymphatic formulas, I'm like a kid in a candy store when I looked at botanicals. It was like, oh my God, here's where the answer is. Of course, all the animals have been using them right along, looking at us going, what's wrong with you guys? So it's like, oh, what a wealth of goodies that doesn't hurt you. This FDA crap, again, someone commented here about getting the ACLU. I've been donating to the ACLU for years, and I have 2 big issues with that. The ACLU needs to go after the IRS for misapplication of the tax laws, and also go after the FDA for the violation of individual rights and things, because the corruption that you see at the FDA. Even if they're closing down raw milk issues, nobody has the right to block anybody from drinking anything. If you want to kill yourself, hello. I mean, that's your God-given right. I don't care what they say. This idea that they're superior, this is the narcissism system of governments and what's happened here. And the people have kind of added to this. You got some of those righteous people out there that don't understand the rights and freedoms that are afforded. Listen to Ron Paul more and you'll understand how extreme that is. Because we see in some corners we want our freedoms, but then we have to pass a law every time someone has a problem or dies from something, an accident, then we have to pass a law that restricts everybody else, and it's gotten suffocating. And the regulations out of the government is suffocating, and they have no business into the private sector. So this is a big issue, and I concur with this one letter about the need to sue the FDA, but also the IRS. We need to take down some of these people that have been misapplying the tax laws and also been violating people's personal rights to enjoy life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness on this planet. This has got to change, and if it isn't, I think that God's going to wipe some butt here. But these lymphatic formulas, there's so many great lymphatic herbs, and there's so much misinformation about the herbs even. I mean, there's so much crap on herbs. Copycat herb books, even some of the better herbalists have no clue because they don't work in these high clinical settings like I do, where I'm using gallons. I'm using gallons of poke root, bloodroot, chaparral. Oh my God, these are the most toxic herbs. Are they really? I've had babies, I've had people that are in their 90s that were febrile, 80 pounds on them for years. Never saw any liver toxicity, never saw any toxicity, because we do everything together holistically. We're into the raw, we're into the herbs, we're doing everything together, and that power cannot be beat. Because I'm telling you, up at this high level, if we can't get you, and you can't help yourself at these high levels, you're in major, major trouble. And there's no way the allopathic even stands a chance except by surgery. Surgery is the one place that I love good surgeons. I just think they're of great value, but someone here sent an email about their loved one going under the knife and didn't come out of surgery because she bled to death or something, and it's like, their loved one going under the knife and didn't come out of surgery because she bled to death or something, and it's like, I find that interesting. In surgery today, they have a way to stop the bleeding, so there's other reasons, but a lot of people do not come out of surgery. There's no question. Their statistics are hidden well. So back to the lymphatic formulas. All right, there's so many lymphatic herbs on this out there on nature. I just go nuts with them. And then of course, Graviola is one that just came in. Been used for centuries, but now it's gaining a lot of popularity. I've used that a lot. Lymphatic herbs are just that. To me, they aggressively move the lymph system. Some of them are touted as tumor busters and converts cancer cells back to healthy cells, and I have seen that in the sense that my Heal All Tea does that. In terms of atypical, I've never seen enough research with my clients to see if the cells were converted back or not. I don't know where that PNR is, the point of no return of a cell is, because we see 95% regeneration. In terms of advanced cancer cases, very few people here don't make it. There are some that are just so involved lymphatically with tumors all of them, no matter how hard we try, we just can't get them fast enough. There are those cases, and I don't know what to say about it. I mean, no one else stands a chance with them. So it's difficult for some, there's no question. And my heart goes out to those. We're just a society that's so ignorant, and we're drinking milk. I mean, I have people with cancer still drinking milk, you know, that come in here and say, are you still drinking dairy products? With a tumor? I mean, this is the sort of problem that we face here. And so people just are unaware, and because of that, they suffer. And that's why this YouTube, we're going to bring awareness, like it or not, to this planet. You know, it's important. And so anyway, Lymphatic 1 is my old original lymphatic formula I've had for just, I don't know how many years, 30, 35 years. That's my old standard formula. I used to call it number 4. Years ago, you couldn't put what part of the body the formula was for. You couldn't put your information about the formula next to the formula. You had to have it so many feet away. Now this is the FDA here, and this is the government who thinks they can just tell people when, where, and how, and why. And so, I mean, strict issues where you could, and it's like, where did this come from? Where did this kind of narcissistic, we know everything and you guys are stupid kind of idea come from? But that's the way it was. And so people didn't know. Look at the Christopher's formulas were always named LB and, you know, lower bowel and all these things like this. And you had to know what it was to look it up. So it's just unreal. So lymphatic number 2, I expanded that. I think that's a good formula. I just kept going with that. I read about these 3 herbs and bitter melon that these pharmaceutical company was trying to get a chemotherapy out of these since they were touted to be anti-cancer herbs, and so I'd read about that in some newsletters, and I thought, well, you know what, let's just give it a try. So I just created Lymphatic 3, and I just gave equal parts to bitter melon, Graviola, Matamba, and I forget the other one. And I just thought, well, I'll just try it as an experimental one. Well, people start saying, oh, my lymph nodes are swelling. I'm going, ooh, good formula. Because I knew it was drawing. So that's a good formula. Lymphatic 3, you want to use probably the 2nd or 3rd down the road. I started thinking a lot more about astringents. And astringents, of course, nettles is astringent. And astringents pull and clean. They're like lemons. Lemons are astringent. Grapes are somewhat. So you use astringents when you're trying to clean something. Well, guess what we're trying to clean? A lymphatic system miles long, so astringents, that's what we like. And so white oak bark's a little bit of an astringent. These astringents are also used to tighten things and tone things. So you see that there's a fair amount of astringents in the prolapsed organ formula. So lymphatic 4, I said, well, I'm just going to put some of the best herbs in there for the lymph, and then I'm going to throw some astringents in there to see what happens. Well, then people started saying, wow, man, I really feel clean. I really feel a difference in that. So I thought, you know, I've been using that from the second 2 weeks for that next month. So that'd be week 3 and 4, 5 and 6. I'm using Lymphatic 4. I come over here and use Lymphatic 1 capsules because I'm going to start drawing and pulling in the bowel. the liquids absorb so much better, especially with the alcohol. It absorbs so much better into your body. And that's the goal. Get it in through these colons, or these small bowels that are interstitially lymphatically constipated, where there's malabsorption. I mean, that's the trick, is to get these things opened up so you have a remedy. You know, you're learning that there's a process to get remedy. However, what takes you down what road, you got to go. And this is for your Kellys out there. You might go through some Humpty Dumptys. Well, grab the bull by the horn, sweetheart, or you're always going to be sitting in the back row complaining about your problems. Grab a hold of that and run. Because each year you live, you're introduced to higher, better things. You have to understand it's the way nature works. You know, no one threw you in hell and took away the key. You know, and so you just have to keep taking each moment for what it is and grabbing it. So yeah, there's some ups and downs, no question. Okay, work yourself through it. So then the lymph node too is basically black salve, you know, bloodroot and things in a liquid form. So I love lymph node 2. Lymph node 1, another powerful one. Someone said, well, I've been using lymph node 1 and lymphatic 1 liquids, and boy, do I really feel a difference. So we've been playing with that. So it's kind of like this, you know, we're playing with these things, and that's there's no specific lymphatic ones I really recommend, except I do start out with lymphatic 4 liquid. Then if I move to lymphatic 3 liquid. I actually go down that way. There's no number. It's just the sequence I made them in. Lymph node 2 capsules, however, I highly recommend you avoid that one unless you have a cancer or tumors, and then I would use that one at maybe 1 capsule a day or 2 capsules a day. Because we started using that just like a regular 2-3 times a day, and people started actually projectile vomiting. And we didn't realize that in capsule form they were 10 times, if not 100 times stronger. I always assumed tinctures were stronger because the amount of compression and distillation that's put into that. But this lymph node 2 is a butt kicker capsule. So be aware of that one. I love lymphatic 1 capsules. The raw herbs are so much better for the GI tract and the liver and pancreas. You're going to have a better response, but much more powerful. So you have to be careful with that. But the liquids and the tinctures, so play with them all you want. They're great, these lymphatic herbs, and there are just so many great ones out there. I just play with them all the while. This is, I told you about this lady. She's not a neurosurgeon. There is a neurosurgeon. This is an ER doc, emergency medicine trained. Her name is Sherry Tenpenny. She's got a video out on vaccinations and about the CD centers and stuff. See if I hold this still. Too much stress. Real good information. She showed how the CDC centers have been deceiving and lying. Of course, they're still getting away with it, you know. No one's holding them accountable. Nobody's holding the government accountable for corruption. And that's going to create a big problem on the government because the people are done taking it. So now, is it possible to change the eye? I'm going to try to get this eye color in here and show you this morning, if I get Chris in here, the difference between the blue and the brown. In German iridology, they don't believe you can change the colors of the eyes, and I thought that's one of the big failings of Germany. Maybe that's why they signed up on Kodak. You know, I mean, come on, Germany, get your butt in gear. You can really change the iris. If you can't, you're not a good healer. I argued with a lady in California who was a German iridologist, and she argued, you can't change the color of the eye. Oh, really? Well, I've never failed to do that, and Jensen never failed to do that, and no one could outdo Dr. Jensen in iridology. Sorry. I mean, the younger people, yeah, I believe that there's going to be a lot smarter, more expansive, but in his heyday, this guy was a whiz kid. He was doing computer iridology way before it was even thought of. He showed me some things he'd been working on years and years ago, and it was like, you were thinking of that far back? I mean, that was pretty advanced in his thinking, yes, but here's a man that worked till he died. And of course, I remember the last seminar, he just couldn't remember some things, of course, but 93 years old, still teaching, you had to give the guy a break, you know. Incredible, incredible. This is about asthma inhalers. The different asthma inhalers. This lady has been able to get off of the purple one, but the blue one, you hit it right on the head when you said you need to order the antispasmodic. You use that instead of an inhaler if you want to get off of the inhalers. I would use it under the tongue, a quarter of a dropper full. You could also take it on a regular basis, like a dropper full or a half a dropper full every 3 or 4 hours if you were really seriously involved here. But you could also take it just with your other herbs, and it'll really help. The nice thing about herbal antispasmodics is they don't block expectoration like inhalers do. And inhalers, I mean, the Tampa Tribune, like I said, did a study on inhalers and found them to be very cancer-causing. So you think in terms of bronchial dilation, but you have to do it in a way that doesn't inhibit or block expectoration, because there's always two things involved in pneumonias, and, well, I'll say not in pneumonias, but from asthma on up into all the COPD ranges, emphysema and COPD, the high chronic obstructive one, is neurological. It's the autonomic nervous system. It is the adrenal gland. Remember, the autonomic nervous system sits at the seat of the solar plexus, tied right into the stomach area. You're having problems with the stomach, you're going to have weird sensations all through you. Talked to a guy in here yesterday with MS, same thing. So when you have stomach problems, you're going to see neurological reflexes. You can feel like you're having a heart attack. You can feel weird. You can get dizzy. All kinds of problems come out of this solar plex. Nausea. All kinds of things come out of this autonomic ganglia here. It controls everywhere in the body. So the real important area to clean up, of course, but always found in lung conditions of the COPD variety, asthma on. So you want to clean that up. So you got to clean up your gut, get your adrenals back up, get your kidneys, move your lymph. Lungs too would be good for you. It will start expectorating and stuff. That is good for you. Inhale and drink 3-lung tea. Another tea we made for expectoration and to drain sinuses, to drain bronchioles and lungs, because you have the two things. You've got to deal with the nervous system weakness and you've got to deal with the congestion. So you can play with that as much as you want, and appreciate that question. Good question. I had a pretty bad eczema growing up. I used those cortisone creams. You know what? I wonder if I was a dermatologist. No offense to you dermatologists, but you guys are embarrassing sometimes to the health field. Some of the ridiculous stuff I hear, what you're telling people, is just not even professional. I mean, most of you are not understanding these are internal problems. And this is the lymph system. The skin is the body's third kidney. And you've got to address these lymph systems, and you can clear everything up. I'm going to get to psoriasis here. Same thing. This is an internal toxicity problem. What kind of toxicity could be internal, except for the ingestion of chemicals, of course, and heavy metals and stuff from the external world? Most pollution is internal pollution, is sewage. Cellular sewage. What else is in the body but cells and two major fluids? Some bacterial action, yeah, we have the microbial action of nature assured and found in every species, absolutely. Of course, with our little playing with chemistry, we've really created some radical things. Look at what we created in the advent of germ warfare, the HIV and Ebola, what I take it. Then look at the mutation look at the herpes, the mutated virals. I mean, look at what man's done for the sake of what? Ignorance. So really got to get in here and work on your skin here. I went raw, the eczema cleared up. She used to have pimples and stuff. All this was just telling you, my healthier me, yes, that your lymph system was backed up. Go after those kidneys. Go after those adrenals. Go after that GI tract. Take the skin formula. Absolutely. And really hit into this and you'll be good. Get yourself a sweating, hot and cold, hydrotherapy, hot and cold showers and stuff. Go swimming in the ocean or somewhere where there's salt water. Do saltwater baths. Get that body opened up and get it in a sweating. If you're cold and not sweating, pick your thyroid up. When you're cold, that's thyroid. Pick that up with a glandular or an herbal formula for the thyroid. Get your thyroid up, your body temperature go up, your ability to sweat will go up. Get you a sweat lodge. Again, I don't recommend infrared saunas. I recommend steam saunas, especially if you use some essential oils. One of our subscribers got a nice little sauna and using essential oils. She's right on top. That's pretty good. This father was diagnosed with Parkinsonism, Parkinson's plus. First time I ever heard of something like that. Every year I hear something new. Of course, I'm in my little hole in the wall here, so I'm so busy seeing people that I don't always have time. I don't want to go home and sit there and read up on the latest medical nonsense. Yeah, it's interesting. He's on Cinnamint, and I've made a comment about Cinnamint before being very addictive, and here's a good example here. This Cinnamint is more of like an antispasmodic and has been increased 3 times since May. I think, I'm not sure Michael Fox was on it, but I'm pretty sure he was. I watched an interview once with Barbara Walters, and I mean, he could last maybe 20 minutes to a half hour. So, and we tried to get to Michael Fox, and of course they create these ridiculous associations where no one else can. Suddenly these guys have the money and they're going to find the cure. And I have to laugh at them because it's like Christopher Reeves did the same thing. We even handed him a tape. Matter of fact, we had a quad, C4, C5 quad, wheeled up to him, who made Fox News and made a lot of things. I'm going to put his story online here. You'll cry when you hear it. He wheeled up to Christopher Reeves and handed him a video on our spinal work. Incredible. We did groundbreaking work. I really think that there's so much work can be done. We're limited. I'm just a little bitty clinic here. Those who have been here see how small we are, you know. And so look at what we can accomplish, all of us together. Are some of these people that have dumped millions. This one lady gave 10 or 20 million to the Miami Project. They can't regenerate squat. None of these places are regenerating squat. Taking in the money, though. So we called her, and I told her what we do, and we're into regeneration. She said, well, I've donated all I can. Well, okay, but, you just threw your money away. We could get Stand-Aid devices along with the raw foods and the herbs and the power of regeneration, and we could have all kinds of things. I had, you'll see this video on this C3C4, which is an injury below Christopher Reeves, but incredible story, incredible work, totally regenerated her in 11 months. I didn't have the money to buy a Stand-Aid device to get her to work, and we didn't have the help. I mean, this is a sad case. Beth, let me see here. Your dad, of course, I mean, it looks like he's getting worse and worse and worse, of course. He's getting a masked face. He's got the shuffled walk. Well, that's common. He's falling, major speech problems, hearing problems, and more. Well, things don't get better. He had a bout of Bell's palsy, etc., etc., etc. These things don't get better unless you fix them. And a lot of people don't know how to fix them because they're so wrapped up with the treatment-based world of there's got to be a magic potion out there, like Love Potion number 9. There's got to be a potion out there, and even pharmaceutical potion, that's going to cure this. And that is the most ridiculous crap that's spread out there, and this is why we're in trouble. This is a process. A lot of you have taken this on, wore the robe, and you're working yourself out of this. Your stories are just incredible. I love it. You see our clinicals are incredible, and you're going to see more and more of it. I'm going to plaster some people up here. I just got to get them in and get their permission, and then we'll film them and get going. Remember, a lot of our clients are worldwide. Difficult to do that. Anybody that wants to film their progress, we're welcome to. We'll throw it up on YouTube. However you want to do it. It's just something we haven't done, but since you guys liked it, and I'm glad you did. I think it's a great learning tool. I think this YouTube site's going to be a great learning tool for anyone being a practitioner, especially naturopaths and people that want to find a cure for people. And strap this on, boy, and you'll have the top healing power of the world. I guarantee you that. So here's the same thing. You're going in upper circ, you're going brain and nerve. I definitely deworm this guy. Really clean the parasites out of him, keep him on Parasite M for a while. Go after those adrenal glands, go after those kidneys, probably hit the pituitary, if you will, and really get into that. There's a lot of great things you can use. You got all kinds of glandulars, which I know you guys, some of you get grossed out, and I don't blame you. I don't blame you. But at this point in the consciousness of man, everything's karmatic. We're growing things for things, and everything is here. Remember, nothing dies. You can't kill anything. It just appears. The appearance of appearance. But anyway, lot you can do with this guy. I mean, I don't ever say no, and that you're too late. You're going to die, or you're in trouble, or that's it. Your dad's going to have to grab the desire to be well out of that, because this is going to be a tough case. Parkinson's is one of the toughest neurological cases. I say that, and we've seen some interesting things and quicker, but the cinnamon is a very addictive. I've said it's more addictive than cocaine myself, and you've seen that, how they're going up and up and up with it. Yeah, so your dad's got a lot of work, but he's only 66 years old. But he's got a lot of work in front of him, but if he's willing to, he's got to ride the ride. This is a high-fruit diet. This is going after the lymph system majorly. Obviously, upper circuit, brain, and nerve is a part of this. I don't know if he has brain lesions or not. You're going to clean the cerebellum. You're going to get into these bowels. You're going to clean this guy from head to toe and start regenerating this person. That's the only hope you have on those cases. But don't ever think some case is impossible. And for you that view these videos, I don't care what case you tell me, I'm never going to tell you that there's nothing you can do. That's ridiculous. I don't live in that world. I've had people where even our staff goes, oh, I don't know, and I pulled them out of it. So, you never know. I mean, if you want to stay on the planet, you got to learn the rules. And that's what I hope this YouTube channel is doing for you all, is giving you the rules of the road. And once you learn the rules of the road, then you can wear the robe, and your survival on the planet's assured, if you like the rock. Let me see. Okay, here's the psoriasis. This was just right in tune with the other one. There's two cases here, Smitten 788, and then Breath Dutin or something. Listen, yeah, you guys are good. You know what? This one guy, though, he's eating goat's yogurt. I wouldn't. Not with psoriasis. Are you kidding? Even though you're doing a good job here, man, you're really clogging your lymph back up, because it doesn't matter what yogurt, and it doesn't matter what milk, it doesn't matter what dairy or what cheese. It's all lymphatically compromising big time, and it'll just serve to create more of a problem for you. So more in, more out type of thing. So both of you sound like you're doing really well. This other girl, she's 25 years old. She's had it since she was 7. You honk on down. Let's see, you've watched our videos. Thank you, sweetheart. I recommended the lymph. I would do lymphatic 1. I would do lymphatic 4 to start. Then I go to lymphatic 3. Definitely hit both kidneys until you see sediment in the urine. Get a jar of pee in it once in a while. When you see a lot of sediment, you're good there. Get the skin formula, right on, man, right on. Clean that skin. Remember, the skin has a lot of liver herbs in there, so it'll clean the liver, even though this is the lymph system. But there is a pharmaceutical that has psoriasis herbal formula that's mainly liver herbs, Oregon grapefruit primarily. And then yet there was a this is a ridiculous case where a poor young man died at 8 months old, and this coroner blamed herbs that he was on for 3 days, and blamed Oregon grapefruit was a toxic herb. How many people have taken Oregon grapefruit? I mean, even the pharmaceutical company has it out there for people. I mean, the stupidity ranks. We'll get online and, oh, this herb must be bad for you. I mean, this is the ignorance of these kind of people. Shouldn't even be in the jobs that they hold. I don't know how these people get their jobs like that. It's stupid, stupid, stupid stuff. But psoriasis is really easy to deal with. Saltwater baths, ocean swimming, helps topically, of course. You know, it's an alkalizing issue. get that lymph system moving, because this is lymph toxicity. But it does say you have weak adrenals, you need more steroids and get your kidneys filtering the lymph system, and you guys will get yourself cleared up and all good and go. And get high up on the fruit detoxification. Even if you see it come back a little more on you, don't freak out, because you're expectorating, you're eliminating, it's coming out of you. Well, what would you expect? So yeah, I mean, this stuff's going to come out every hole you got. It's going to come out your skin. I mean, how fast you detoxify, you could really, you know, the more toxic you are, you could see this. You could ooze from the ears, the nose, the throat, you know, vaginally, rectally, you know, you're going to see stuff coming out all on belly button, skin. Well, okay, it's coming out. And that's really the key here, is you want it out. You don't want it in. And I used to go, oh man, I'm glad I got rid of that. Because, you know, and that's the thing. You go with zest and head down that road. Vitality is one when you clean out the sewage. So where do you get the cholesterol from, which you duly pointed is needed for fighting acids? Well, I mean, as far as we know, the liver is probably the seat of most of the production of cholesterols. That's why you see most statins, they always watch liver enzymes, because statins are liver suppressing chemicals, and anytime you suppress any function, you could cause damage to cells, and so they look at your liver enzymes and alkaline phosphatases and stuff. But yeah, cholesterol is the key component of the body. I love this. You're bad cholesterol. So everybody's tuned in there. Bad cholesterol. Bad boy, bad boy. Bad boy for doing your job. I mean, this is the ignorance that's out there. Just sickening. What is the healthiest form of birth control? We did a video on that, remember? And it's like, somebody sent in some good herbs there. I'd like to talk to some good Native Americans and stuff. Pennyroyal is something that people have used to abort, but they're always going to be abortive herbs. I mean, just as like estrogen is abortive. So you got to understand that that's what birth control is. You're constantly aborting, in a sense. You're doing that. So I don't know. See, you can. I'd like to put together a good formula, though, for birth control, because what better would a nice herbal formula be that wouldn't hurt a person whatsoever, and it wouldn't mess up with the steroids, and it wouldn't create the weaknesses of the adrenals as birth control pills do. Something really nice. I mean, that's what we should be seeking. If pharmaceutical companies should be seeking anything, it's how to make safer, more botanical-based things that help people. I can't pronounce your name. You're from Slovenia. Only thing I have for you, my friend, is the tapes. I've had someone the other day in from Slovenia. Great work, you guys. I hear that you have no restrictions in getting into your country and stuff, and I love that. I love some of these Eastern Bloc countries. You guys are some of you have springs and tied into that sort of thing. There's a lot of problems in some of these countries with the medical establishments, but. I don't know how you are there, but yeah, head off. You're a health coach. You're teaching people how to be healthy. Hit the raw. Even when you're in countries hard to get it, you're really, supply and demand. Maybe this will really kick up the farmers' need to in these, even in Florida. Florida needs to wake up and realize it can be the seat of some incredible produce. But so far, our produce isn't too good down here. California is much better. And so you can't complain in Florida about the sand, because you know that, what was that in Scotland, Findhorn. Findhorn was an incredible project, incredible thing. Still there, I suppose. But I talked to a lady that actually visited Findhorn. I wanted to go there to talk to the entities and stuff in that area. Just incredible what they grew out of sand. So it was amazing. Anybody have a chance to read anything on Findhorn? That was a lot of years ago. But we have tapes. I have a DVD tape for educational purposes there. You can set up classes. I'm here to spread this worldwide. So yeah, kick it up, my friend. Get into the raw, play with the herbs, and you'll really see a difference. In health coach and building up, see, my main focus is detoxification, but you can shift to building up really easy, but you detoxify first. That's really the key, because when you build up, you're talking about a super person. And so that's why the God's Blend, that's a superfood blend. Look at my God's Blend 2, major superfood blend. I've been, Tony Patella of the Letterman once was down here. They've been friends of ours for a lot of years, and he was on stage, and he was saying he was just ratted out. So I said, well, just take a couple of tablespoons of this God's Blend, man. You'll be good. And so he did about a fourth or more of the bottle. And man, Tony was jumping out in the audience singing, and Danny and all of us going, what? You know, it's like he was up for 3 days. And so I know that a lot of Curly, the dries bus for a lot of them, we got a lot of people taking the God's Blend, you know, that's performing. Brian Adams, I know a lot of them are on the blend. It's good. It's powering you up, and good stuff. You know, it's good stuff. And powered up with the greens, the alfalfas, the green juices. I mean, the level of health that can be achieved is phenomenal. And some of these advanced cases, get yourselves together, get yourselves going down this road. There's some bumps and humps for a while, but when you get past those, major health, Kelly, major health. Go after that. What's that I'm drinking? Tea. Iced tea. That's one of my nasty habits. I drink Hillel tea once in a while. Not really over a fan of too many herbal teas. I did so much honey and herbal teas, I can't deal with peppermint anymore. I mean, I did a lot of that in my earlier years, and I just burn out of them. You know, it's like, ugh. I like some chamomile and stuff like that, but this is a young lady, Cass Nava? Oh, I remember you, sweetheart. Let's see. Herbs are working. Let's see here. You've been on the herbs. A friend of mine has melanoma mucosa and had to have the tip of her tongue removed. Ouch. Yeah, they now want to remove her lymph nodes as well. I know this is flat out a bad. Oh yeah, it's a flat out bad decision. And but what this is what we have to learn: what cancer is really, and what the lymph system is, what acids are. And the fact that when you have cancer in the tongue, you're backed up all over. You're backed up under the arms, you're backed up down the sternum, you're backed up all over the place. It's the kidneys that's the problem, and the adrenal glands control those. Probably a little pituitary there too. So, but really got to move her lymph. I mean, you can't just keep cutting out stuff, because you get to the point where you can't fix yourself. You cut out the wrong lymph nodes, you're done. And that's a serious issue. These guys think lymph nodes are candy. We can cut them out. You don't need them. This shows the extreme ignorance of this. That lymph nodes are doing their job in her. That's what they do. That's where cancer cells go. That's the system. We talked about that yesterday when someone asked me about injecting cancer cells into mice. Understand how tissue is, you know, and the only way is a magnetic transference of consciousness. But outside of that, you've got cells that are damaged, and the lymph system deals with that. The immune system deals with that. It's not an autoimmune problem at all. It's a lymph stagnation problem, and that can be remedied and fixed. These lymph nodes can go down if they have a pathway. The pathway is, of course, remember, here's the underarms. This is not going to go to the heart. Here's a bunch of lymph nodes here. Here's the kidney right here. So it's real easy to understand that the kidneys play this major role. And so this lady really needs to get on with moving her lymph, and I do it aggressively before they start slicing on you, because you get yourself in trouble there, and then it'll be really hard to save you. You'll be popping black salve a lot, and trying to get these tumors out that you can't move out naturally because they removed the lymph pathway. That's not in the order of things. So you've never fixed this. Your friends never fixed, sweetheart, the cause of the problem, and that's the issue. Is we have to think more causative, and you guys are right on top. You guys are great. You're going to be the best healers in the world, and I love that. You're going to take this a lot further than me. Let me tell you. I expect you to. I don't, I'm just an old guy that's worked for years in this field, so I expect you guys to take this and sell the ship right on in port. Let me see. This question was mixing acids with extreme bases. Yeah, I mean, that's a game people play. It does the beer and stuff. I don't know how acidic beer is, but it's got a lot of yeast in it. And everybody complains about too much yeast in the body. I wouldn't eat yeast. Not a smart thing there. So you can play with that, but just move yourself away from the beers and stuff. It's one thing to have a beer or a glass of wine. I tell people they can have, especially those that just have to have something, organic red wine or something, some robust fruit wine that doesn't have sulfites in it. Yeah, okay. I'd expect people to be saints and, and walk as a Puritan. I don't expect that. It's not going to happen. There are a few of you that probably expect people to do that. They're not going to do that. I have to be realistic. I've been in practice 40 years. I've been through a lot of people. And you do realistically. Life is what it is. And so I don't blame anybody for doing anything. Are you kidding? But if you want to fix something, you belly up, you get tightened up, you really wear the robe, and you walk down that road until you can't walk down it anymore, or you're just ready to pull the plug. And by then you want to be able to look around and have no more symptoms, no more cancer, no more nothing. The lymph nodes are all down, everybody's flowing good, your urine's full of sediment, all the inflammation, all the acids are out, all symptoms are gone, you're totally feeling good and healthy, and the body's mobile, and you're sitting there sparking. That's when you want to stop, and then you can balance out if you want. This is another gentleman that's overweight. He's 6'2". He's got up to 320. Now he's down to 280. Good man. 26 years old. Feel for you, man. And you have noticed yellow in your iris. Again, that's sulfur, probably. And sulfur is definitely an inhibitor of the lymph. And people get sulfur when they have lymphatic problems because people use sulfur drugs when they see lymphatic problems. Mumps, measles, cold flus, tonsillitis, all kinds of things that medical doctors might attribute to microbial activity. People notice they give antibiotics for every single thing, everything, because they don't have anything. That's, if I was a medical doctor, I'd be so frustrated with the lack of tools that I would have to give someone well. We'll just give them antibiotics. I'll give them more antibiotics. I mean, the ridiculousness of that thinking. Just amazing. Anybody see Terra Nova last night? Oh, that was pretty good. Don't overuse the antibiotics. But Terra Nova, that's pretty good. That's a wild show. I thought that was pretty realistic. Pretty good. Of course, I missed my Dancing with Stars, so I recorded and looked at Dancing with the Stars, Nancy, you're going to have to trim up and kick it, man. His dad, this person's dad in his late 60s, doing well. He said he met Dr. Jensen in Escondido. Yo, bro, then hit it hard, kick it up another notch. Remember, Jensen, super spiritual dude, wasn't a vitalist though, and you need to be a vitalist nowadays. That's a vitalist is a raw foodist, and then kick up even further into a fruitarian lifestyle when you're detoxifying. You'll see the big difference here. And keep working on your health. Again, your dad, but if you're overweight, you're even getting it from your dad or your mom. Here's weak adrenals, of course, then you're going to have the kidneys, you're going to have the lymphatic issues there. So go for that there. Ether Matter, thank all of your comments, you guys. I really love all these comments. Here's a comment from Serbia. I love that. Kick butt there, Peter. Go on, my friend, and hit it. Hi from here, too. Hi to Serbia, Peter. We all just have to love each other and understand that the enjoyment of it is the fact that we're all different. I'd hate to have to see the same person over and over and over again, wouldn't you? I love the fact that everybody's uniquely different. I wish everybody in all these countries, these dictators, would be buried and then everybody just started hugging everybody and say, look, let's work together. Let's all get healthy and let's even out everything. Here's the HPV, human papillomavirus, as anal polyps and et cetera, Let me tell you, again, we're going lymph, guys. And the same with HIV, all these things. Virals are proteins, and again, they deal in acid mediums. They deal with the weakening of cells and the job that the immune system has to do when these things take place. So the name of the game in all these issues is move your lymph and strengthen the cells that comprise the human body. Virals love weak cells. I mean, that's their job. They're like antigens. So you can carry a viral load for as long as till hell freezes over. But these anal polyps and stuff, get these out of there. Move that lymph. You don't want to get colorectal cancer here. So move this out of here. You're weakening your cells and you're getting the polyps. So you're going to move your lymph. If you want to, do some rectal insertion a short way up it with a Heal-All T. That's great for those sort of things, although that's going to draw and pull. This is an internal problem. Again, going back to kidneys and adrenals, so address that and you'll be good there. Raw fruits and veggies, herbs could do for a Downs case. Oh, I have never had someone bring a Downs case to me. Now remember Lorenzo oil? What great work was done with very little. This level of work, are you kidding? I would love that. We have to start thinking regeneration here. This is one of the better questions. I love that. And so, the V Karma. Hey, yeah, man. Yes, this is where we must be. We must be at this level and understand the regeneration and realignment of the human body. There is an etheric print, and I talked about this in the spiritual tapes, and maybe I'll do another one and kind of go over this again, and I had this conversation with a client here the other day about the etheric and how, it's not difficult to understand that we have a mind, that we have emotions, and then we also have the physical body. The mistake that organic, or I won't say inorganic science makes, is that everything is inorganic. Everything is very what we see, what we feel, and what we touch physically. And the mistake of that is it excludes intelligence. So you got to get up into quantum physics if you're going into science to get yourself free from this very fundamental, mundane, constipated view of the universe. Like the guy in the wheelchair, I forget what his name is, and he it's real smart, and he gets into the universe, but there's no God, because he forgets intelligence. He forgets awareness. He lacked that ability to understand that. He was too inorganic. So really, when we're looking at this, you have to understand that when you're using your mind, you're not in or using this physical world to use that. This physical world is very inert, very chemical, very limited. The mind does not exist here. The human brain does, and so does all these other brains, but not the mind. The mind is a whole separate level and has a whole worlds and heavens associated with that level. You have the universal mind, which is talked a lot about in terms of cosmic consciousness. It's well known, where one experiences the oneness of all things. When you're feeling the oneness of all things, you're visiting the universal mind. That's where each of us can remember and see the same things. The universal mind can be tapped into whether you're in Serbia or whether you're in the States or wherever you are. We can have the same thoughts, because there's a universal mind. Holmes wrote a lot about the universal mind. But in these realms, the mental worlds, you can't not have anything physically without first thinking about it. Therefore, you have to create in the mental worlds first. Then you have to have emotions to put this into gear. And believe me, that's called the astral world. Remember, I told you guys about the John Monroe's clinic in terms of astral travels. There's a whole world called the astral worlds. This office exists there too. You also exist there too when you use your emotions. You're not using physical reality here. You're using the astral reality. And then you have the physical world. And this is the most mundane, the most constipated, the most claustrophobic of them all. So you have all these levels, and your bodies, you have bodies on these levels, and from that causal world down, you have this body in a form that you can see. I can talk to you in your causal body at night, or even now. When I'm conversing with you, I'm conversing to you as soul. I'm conversing to you in the mind. I'm conversing to your emotions. I'm conversing to the physical as the most inert. Really not that level of intelligence if you understand your higher selves, your higher bodies that you're using. You can converse better. I can converse to you emotionally better. Physically is physical, but not much communication. But emotionally I can communicate to you, and mentally I can communicate to you, and do. So we're communicating to each other on all these levels simultaneously. They're just so interwoven that you don't feel the difference. Kind of like a craving for cheese and bread is a fungal craving, but you think it's your own craving. It's so, your parasites are so woven into your body that you don't realize it's not your own craving. And that's how it is with God. You don't realize the separation of these different worlds. You feel like it's all here. But there's so much more to that. And so, yeah, you're going to, as you get your magnetics, your energy up, you're lifting your body into these higher worlds of magnetics. Because the more expansive, the closer to God you get, obviously the more energetic you get. Not the opposite. The more obstructions, the more lack of energy, the more decay you have, the further away from God you get, if there is such a thing of being away from God at all. But downs, great, excellent question. Let's work on them. Let's get them turned around here. The regeneration of genetic weaknesses, of mutations, things like this, it's our only hope. We have to. And the proof is what we've seen before. Remember the spinal bifida case, born without L4 and L5, 3 years on Raw, she has L4 and L5. What's that? Where did that memory come in then? It wasn't there physically. Aha. So that's what I'm saying. There's so much to this. The idea that science has become constipated shows that narcissist, that ego of the mind that came into this planet and stagnated its growth, and then made a killing machine out of it. I guess it's a good way to reduce population, though. Grinding teeth at night it can be worms. I've thought about grinding the teeth can be a lot of things, you know. Neurological, especially weaknesses in the autonomic nervous system, microbes, too much fungus in the body. Could be a lot of things, you know. There's a lot of opinions on it. Let me see here. Yeah, I covered this for you, Jules. This is the lymphatic formulas, and we went over that. I'm glad you asked that question. I really needed to do that because I just keep trying to turn out formulas. These are so many great herbs. I would love, I don't know. I mean, I don't know where my next formula is going to be. I'm real happy with everything I've got now. I've got just about everything covered that I can imagine that we need for tools in getting people well. So I suppose I am working on a baby formula called Mother's Milk by Nature. I was going to call it Gorilla Milk, but it's called Mother's Milk by Nature. It's an infant formula. It's going to power these kids up like nobody's business. These formulas are insane. These manufacturers should be sued over them. High fat, high protein. These new babies, no babies can handle these formulas. They're clogging the baby's lymph systems. Nasty. So this is coming, but right now we're kind of in getting powdered fruits very difficult. Fresh organic powdered fruits is very difficult. A good company that makes them just continues not to call us back. So I need some powdered fruits. I'm going to have powdered hemp, chia. Going to be a powerful food for the infants, and that's what we need. So it's coming. But anybody, even the elderly, can suck that down, And nursing homes, power them up so to do these insures and pedicures and these things that are clogging their lymph systems. These people should be sued for false advertising. Put this pedicure or insure right by a whole bunch of fruits and hug them. Give me a break. There's nothing related to them at all. I mean, it's just unreal. Unreal, the advertising gimmicks. And it's like, after a while, you want to vomit with the ridiculousness of it. Jagger Myers, what do we got going here, man? Ridge fingernails appears to splinter like objects under the... Oh, you're getting object splinters like under the fingernails. I fell off a telephone pole. I used to work for the phone company years ago. I had to make money. So I was up on a telephone pole, and I had a ladder, but it had a power line going down it, and it was rainy, and I was reaching out, and my ladder started falling. And of course, you never grab the pole because of all the people that have went up. And I generally use my climbers, but all the people that have used their spikes, you've got all these the bark, if you will, sticking out. You never grab a pole because you could really get yourself splintered up. Well, I grabbed the pole, and my whole hand here was full of splinters. So I had to have it surgically, removed. But I kept getting splinters out of my fingernails for years, and found one the other day after 40 years, or so. But, definitely stuff coming out. That's how your body works things out. Isn't that beautiful? So it's something that you've got in you that the body's working out under the fingernails. I would think it's more than calcifications if they look like splinters. So I don't know what to tell you what that is. The fact that you're having the ridged fingernails, definitely you're losing calcium there. Maybe a little weak parathyroid there. You'd have to look at that and see if you see other calcium-related issues. Wouldn't hurt to pump up the parathyroid anyway. Pump on a lot of kelp in your diet. Stay away from acids, nitrogen-rich foods, phosphorus-rich foods. That just leaches all calcium out of the body there. Thanks for viewing, too, by the way. You made a comment that cancer says I addressed that. Thanks, Peter. Thanks to all you guys. If I don't have a chance to mention your name, I appreciate it. Indiana Banana, good man. I mean, thanks for that comment on question and answer 39. I try to make this a continuing education thing, because if you keep it simple and you really catch it, no one can take it away from you, and you're really going. How you doing, Indiana Banana? I want those legs cleaned up there, my friend. Keep me informed. Keep the staff informed here. Oh yeah, this is about the lady that had the orthoscopic back surgery, and she was 71 and died on the table. Scary stuff. Scary stuff. This is the 100th day on Raw with Harlem. Go, bro, go. Kicking butt, man. Here's an 81-year-old raw foodist for over 20 years. Got to hand it to you, man. 20 years raw foodist. Incredible work, all I can tell you. Now, but we're having, he urinates several times at night. He has to get up 3 or 4 times every night. He had a prostate test done, and it said the prostate size is normal. Well, see what your PSAs are first. You don't have to have hypertrophy or enlargement, but you could still have inflammation in the prostate. See what your PSAs are. Also could be the wall of the bladder, no question. Definitely the lymph system in your kidneys and bladder, because you are forming stones. So you might have been a raw foodist, but that could have included a lot of nuts and other things. So kick it up with the fruitarian thinking. At 81, you're going to do better on it anyway. And get these calcifications out. Go into the kidney formulas, the lymphatic formulas for a while. Clean up the kidneys. Get your lymph system moving better. Because you'll see, just on Raw, you'll see these people that are not moving their lymph, even on Raw. Isn't that amazing? So we really have to get, that's why I love the herbs, and you guys will see and come to realize the power of these herbs and how they can fix things that raw foods themselves can't even fix. It's amazing. But and amazing, after 20 years, you'd still have some prostatitis and some kidney and bladder problems. I find that strange, so I don't know. But anyway, I would get after my kidneys, use the kidney formulas, man, and use the lymphatic 4. That's got some astringents that'll help pull, and really we're going to clean up your bowels a little bit here. That'll pull the calcifications out, because you definitely got too acidic, and it could be interstitial lymphatic constipation in the wall of the kidneys. But just because you've been on raw for 20 years, maybe you haven't detoxed at the top of the mountain, so I would suggest that you get to the top of the mountain. But 81 raw, pretty dang good, girl. Good work there. This is Mei Ling Yin. Honey, I love you. Thanks for the comment there. You're so right. I would love to be on board with a suit against the FDA and the feds. I'm chomping. I'm drooling for that. It's time that these guys have a dose of their own medicine. They don't realize that you only piss off the public so long, and then the public's going to come after you. You know, it's like the old days, like the kings started taxing the people, then stealing more and more and more, and then the people killed the king. I mean, that's just exactly what's going to happen here, and they don't understand it. They're closed, they're unconscious, they're unaware people, and you know, karma swings back. The God people are going to have their butt kicking day. Not that God kicks butt. If you don't think God kicks butt, look around. God does kick butt. So yeah, I mean, this is so small I can hardly read it here. So I'll look this over again. But blessings to you, Maylee. Good thing. I'll look at this again. Does it make sense to anyone? Yeah. This is 303. Does it make sense to anyone other than the various medical associations that God would create an earth that is self-healing, plants that are self-healing, and animals that are self-healing, and then turn around and make man so complicated? Thank you for that. Obvious. Hello. I mean, that's obvious. You're good high guy or whatever. Good work. I mean, this is so true, man. You're right on when you look at that. I've read about the herbs, and you're the one that had said, I know, I tell you, we don't know anything about herbs, yet we've had 5,000 years. That's the beauty of this. Like this one lady was working in nettles. Maybe it enhanced her white blood cell counts. The thought, though, in looking at her case was maybe pituitary, reduced the inflammation, pituitary kicked up bone marrow function, and blah, 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 blah. That'd be an interesting link to think about, and an interesting thought when you have cases of low white blood cells. So I can't tell you how much I love herbs. And I think we need to protect their integrity and the earth for the Supreme Being here, and fight those that would assume they're bad. So 303, right on. Alone Alada. I just love that name because I love the alone state there. Why do they irradiate thyroid glands? Because they can't, this is a sick profession of I can't cure anything, so we're going to destroy it. That's all I can tell you. I don't know. You see it like I see it. I'll say this, though. I would still, if they didn't remove it, I'd still go after the health of that thyroid gland. Don't, just because they irradiated the heck out of it. I don't know if that was you or someone else, but I'd really go after the health of that thyroid gland. This is where the glandulars, kind of like a stem cell thing, would be really beneficial, is when you supposedly killed the thyroid, those glandulars could really help to perk that whole gland up and really go into that. I would really hit that gland hard and try to save that gland. And fix why it was hypo or hyper in the first place. Mostly they do it in hyper cases, because when something's hyperactive, their idea is just cut part of it off. So when the thyroid is hyperactive, we'll just cut part of the thyroid off. I think a 2-year-old could come up with that. Ah! Sanity. Blessings to you, sweetheart. This is about gout. And this is a good question, Angel. Something about gout is it doesn't affect just meat eaters. Beer and white flour products. Now, I've also told you guys why uric acid is in the body. What's your thought now? She just gave the clue right there away. Is this a female? Angel B? I don't know, but what do you think? You know, I went to a blood chemistry seminar once, and it was a medical doctor, a female, turned naturopath. And she was one of those naturopaths that ate meat. So she had a big farm and raised her organic beefs and stuff, but she was a smart lady. She really had looked at blood a little different. And I've always, as a biochemist, I've always wanted to look at chemistry here and there a little differently. Although this one question about your high calcium, magnesium level, I forget a lot of that. I apologize. Could be taking supplements or something, but, you know, I forget a lot of that. Thank God. You know, I just don't focus there anymore. But anyway, I went to her blood chemistry seminar, and I asked her the same question. Same question. And she looked at me and she said, fungus. And I go, that makes sense. Fungus leaves uric acid crystals in the body. And here you go. You see a lot of gout with a lot of fungus problems, and you especially see it when you see sulfur. Sulfur is a fungal aphrodisiac, and therefore you see a lot of gouty or uric acid problems in these people. And there's your answer. And of course, people that eat, what do you say here? Beer, yeast. Hello. It's one. And we used to eat brewer's yeast. And Richard, you put yeast in your superfood blend. Huh? Didn't like that. So yeah, get the yeast out. That was the brewer's yeast, nutritional yeast. That was back in the day. I used to eat that myself. When I opened a health food store, here I'm a raw foodist, opened a health food store, and I didn't know any better. I was young. You know, it's like, ugh, yuck. So, yeah, then we fight fungus from it. Then we fight uric acid and blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, definitely very painful. Uric acid pinpricks. So, definitely detox the body, take Parasite M for a long time, saturate your body with it, get a hold of the fungus, get the lymph system cleaned out, and in good shape you shall be. Your girlfriend believes that she suffers from derealization and depersonalization. Whew. Well, the only thing I can tell you is this. From the physical viewpoint, you're always going to go after the adrenal glands, and you're going to go after the thyroid and parathyroid for the fact of isolating yourself away from life. This creates isolation. There's a difference between aloneness and the union of life and isolation and the separation from life. You could also be dealing with some ego here, different levels here. Spiritually, this person has to attune to themselves. This person needs to tie into the infinite, tie into God. Even if she has to develop some crutches first, take on a teaching or follow something. There's the way of truth is a great teaching that she could use to help herself. Even Eckankar now could probably give her some stability, but there's some stability out there and something that she grabs a hold of, something that's bigger than she is, something that'll help to expand her maybe beyond her limitations. But physically, I would definitely go into the adrenals and the thyroid, parathyroid, and get that physical body healthy. That'll resonate right back into the etheric bodies and help perk them up as well. And then connect with God, because there's nothing else out there. You have to be careful that thin line between connecting to the ego or the self. Mistaking the ego for the self. Lona Lotta. Oh, yes. I'm sorry you are in such a bad way. Become it. Don't worry. Oh, yeah. This is a nice letter to Kelly. Kelly, you got a lot of friends here. Don't take that in the negative. These people are trying to boost you up. And, we're all going to be on your case till you grab it. Let me see, sweetheart. Lona Lotta. Osha's video, Love and Aloneness. I love aloneness. It's the path where all things are. Yeah. you see that I'm just tipping the tip of the iceberg. This question was on pre-atrial fibrillation, if there is a pre. Atrial fibrillation is when your atrium, particularly the right atrium, where the sinus node is, where your initial spark dilates or depolarizes the heart, opens up the valve so the blood can go from chamber to chamber. And it's when this spark starts shooting from all different points in the atrium and it just starts fibrillating. It's essential that enough get through to give you 60 beats a minute, though, to open up that valve, or you're going to get a pacemaker. Ablation is where they go in and they start killing nerves, basically, to stop that from firing from all these places. And again, this goes back to a state of wellness and strengthening the autonomic nervous system through the adrenal glands. It is also a case about making sure that you're utilizing calcium. Get on that parathyroid gland, get on your adrenals, and start detoxifying your lymph system. Really and vital. I would also get into the GI tract and clean up that GI tract. There's a big correlation between the GI tract and the heart, basically where the heart came off the colon, and also the autonomic and the stomach. Big correlation there. Get that GI tract cleaned up, get the adrenals cleaned up, and get them healthy, producing more neurotransmitters. Get calcium utilization up so you have the calcium transport of that, and you'll be in good shape there. Yeah, I mean, you got to get yourself back in a state of health. You're struggling here because it just depends how many beats you're getting the ventriculars down there. And so it's just, you go after your health, man. You'll be okay. Same way. Yeah, this is one question by Hollywood. Oh, could you have Chris come in?
Okay.
Is he available? I want to do something with him. Well, let me see here. There's so much nutritional propaganda out there, my friend. It's unbelievable. I mean, it really is. And health is so much simpler than that. But man needs something to occupy the mind. So you see that there. And here's one that has lupus. Oh, you know what? I want to do this. There was a question here, Chris, about is it possible to change an eye color from brown to blue? So what I wanted to do was show a blue eye that's brown and a true brown eye. So I didn't know if you could help me steer in on this. Okay. I want to see how this works out because when we come to doing this iridology, we'll be able to tell. I'll go over this again. Now here's a true brown eye. And my deck of cards. Okay, so let's do this. This is a true brown eye. In a brown eye, you will not see any blue. Now you'll notice a white ring. Is that coming in pretty good?
Yeah.
You'll notice a white ring around the outside of that brown eye. That is a cholesterol ring. Now let me show you. Obviously, this is a blue eye. Now, here is a blue eye that turned brown. If you'll notice, you can see the blue underneath the brown, where the brown eye is all brown. I'll show you a stage before you get there where you see this eye. You can still see a lot of blue in this eye, but you start to see the yellow and brown on top of the blue fibers. That is a blue eye. And as you clean the lymph system, all that brown and yellow will come out of there and the eye will turn its blue color. Here's another one. This was a colonel's wife. You can definitely see the blue. Now this is after 2 months. When she first came in, there was only one little bitty spot, the head of a pencil, that look blue. So she's moving her lymph out, and now you can see the blue underneath. On a brown eye, there is absolutely no blue. There wouldn't be. Here's another blue eye. While we're talking about it, and Chris is here, let me show you sulfur in an eye. This is a lot of sulfur. Notice that that color of that eye is orange. That's a lot of sulfur. It's a blue eye. And you're going to see that sulfur coming out in your stools and probably in your urine. It's out in the lymph nodes. Even when you see sulfur in the bowels, it'll try to pull it to the lymph nodes. Here's a blue eye with a lot of chemicals and a lot of sulfur. Here's a lady that who knows what the heck this red stuff is. It's all in her brain. She came with extreme brain pressure. Now she's getting hunks of mucus out of her sinuses that are red. Not the true color of an eye. I'll show you one here where, generally speaking, sulfur, this is a blue eye. Notice the sulfur is immediately around the pupil. Immediately around the pupil is the stomach and bowel area, and that's where you see most of the sulfur originate. And this will actually come out in your stools as orange stools. Again, this is a brown eye. So what color eye would this be? It's a blue eye. While you're doing this, Chris, let's just give them a little bit of some, a little iridology lesson here. This is from an 83-year-old female. In here with not a lot of problems. In here with not a lot of problems. If you look at the eye like a wagon wheel, the pupil is the hub, and there's thousands of spokes that come out and emanate out from the pupil all the way around the eye. Now, if you want to see what the lymph system looks like in an eye, there's nothing any worse than a dairy farmer. So this is a dairy farmer from Upper New York that has an ice cream manufacturing plant. He also was 83 when I took his picture, but you can see the difference. Look at that thick, white, milky substance on top of his blue fibers. You can't even see his blue fibers because of all that white, thick, milky stuff. I just showed you that stuff when it turns brown in a blue eye. That's the lymph system. When you've got a lymph system this bad, you're in trouble. Now let's go back and look at this one, Chris. Notice those fibers are nice and straight. But take a look at her eyes. Look at those fibers are nice and curly. The straighter the fiber, the healthier the cell. The fibers represent the cells of the body. Whenever these fibers develop patterns, lesions, lacunas, crypts, there's all names for them. Each one of these is a specific weakness in the human body. This case that you're looking at was at age 30, a cervical cancer case, age 32, a thyroid cancer case, and came to me at age 34 with pancreatic cancer. Took me 11 months, but I saved this case. This case made the Sally Raphael show. It made Fox News, local newspapers. This was degenerative pancreatic cancer. She ate an apple. She pooped an apple. But look at the difference between the fibers. You see these blue fibers here, nice and straight. 83 years old, very few problems. She's 90-some now, eating raw foods. This lady's still alive here that had the 3 cancers, but and her daughter's eyes look just like hers. And I sit her daughter down and I said, listen, honey, you're in trouble here. Well, it went right over her head, age 20, cervical cancer. Now, this cancer case was very difficult. I write about her in my books, the healing crisis, the tumors that popped out of over, the teeth that were loose. I mean, tremendous, tremendous work. She wasn't digesting anything anymore, and I did not use digestive enzymes. Here's another blue eye. Looks almost brown. I want to see if I can find this other brown eye I have here. Yeah. Let's look at this brown eye, Chris, because this brown eye, in a brown eye, the only way you can see the lymph system is shades of brown. Notice the different shades of brown. You have light brown and you have dark brown. The darker brown is the lymph system in a brown-eyed person and where they have their problems. This is a lighter brown color eye. So I just wanted to give them a little heads up on that. Appreciate you coming in there, and they know we're okay, right, with the time?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So anyway, we were able to swing that in there. Thank you, Chris, so much for coming in and helping me do that. Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah. So these are my little toys, my little tools, because when you come in, I give everybody a little education. Some lady complained the other day that I took her time up by showing her how to read the eye. I only take a few minutes, and I was showing her so she could understand how to read her eye. Ungrateful. I run my appointments a certain way, and if people don't like them, please don't come. Because I'm an educator. I teach you. And that's the way I always will be. I find it important. I want to learn, and I find it essential. Some people just are strange out there, but I hope you enjoyed that. And that answers your question about brown and blue eyes. Absolutely. This is a question here. Who is this? Let's see here. Two Weiss. See, I have lupus, MS, Sjogren's, fibromyalgia, to name a few. You have an autoimmune problem, and there's just absolutely nothing that's out there for you. Boy, how would you like to hear a video like that? What's wrong with this case, guys? Help me out here. We got a blood problem here? No. What kind of problem do we got here? We got a lymphatic problem. You're systemically backed up. You're feeling it all through you, honey. So you really got to move your lymph. See if you have any orange in your eye, because, you know, cases like yours generally have a lot of sulfur in there, which gives a lot of fungus, which exacerbates the acids, of course, with the uric acid and all the other acids. But then it also just makes the lymph system even more sluggish. You'll find in RA cases a lot of those high sulfur cases. This locks your lymph right in there. And hurt baby hurt. So I know you're hurting here, but you know, a simple case where your adrenals are down, your kidneys are down, and you got to start filtering your lymph system. I had a case yesterday where a lady just a half a dropper of one lymphatic formula swells her feet. Is that individual not moving her lymph system at all? Is that severe kidney filtration issues? When you take a little bit of a lymph formula and your feet swell from that, that's serious. So really got to move those lymphs, and moving those lymphs is a kidney adrenal gland issue. Remember I said that sometimes you got to go real slow, because if you give them too many lymphatic formulas, their lymph nodes will swell and things, because their door's closed. And the door, I find this over and over and over again, the door is the kidneys. And the adrenals control that door. So go down that line what we're talking about. Hit your kidneys, hit your adrenals, hit the lymph system, and clean all these acids out. And funny, all this lupus, all this fibromyalgia, all the MS will disappear. If not, you'll be trapped in this autoimmune syndrome ridiculousness and suffer the rest of your life. That's crazy. Owen, this is probably a while since I've got into these. I found these sitting around, so I apologize. You know, I'm just doing my best to get to you. But this is Owen again here about Gabriel Cousens and the fruitarian, and I think I went over this about the depletion of the kids and stuff. Bull crap. I got so many fruitarian babies out there that are sitting there exuding vibrancy and health. That is bull crap. I don't care what study that was. I've seen these fruitarian babies are killer babies, man. I mean, Jennifer's got one. She's not total fruitarian, but she's close. And I mean, she's 7 months old and she's going to be walking any time. She's pulled herself up a month ago and standing. I mean, it's unreal. Unreal. So, you know, after a while you get frustrated with the ignorance out there. Yes, we have lousy fruit. So we all have to move to Mexico or somewhere where we got some good fruit. Too bad all these countries that have all the fruit are always in turmoil, and there's always so much of all the other stuff. JG, the doc, referring to burdock. You know, I've got a good Amish friend, John Keim. Don Keim's an old Amish healer. I mean, great soul, man. Can't pinch an inch on him. He's 80-some. I mean, this guy's unreal. We were at another friend of mine's, Willie Krishner, and we were at his house up in Shipshewana, and there were a bunch of Amish healers, and we were talking around. So we all were going to go down and do something. And, of course, those of us that drive cars, so it takes everybody. And John said, no, I'll meet you there. And I said, well, it's, 10 miles down the way. Or oh, no, I'll meet you there. Here he takes off. He's 80, so here he takes off walking through all these fields. Cold out, it's in the fall. Takes off hiking down the road there. This guy is something else. But famous for burns. And burdock leaves was his big deal. I was up there in Ohio when he was in Ohio. And I think it was Ashland, Ohio he was. And he showed me the difference between two children, an Amish boy and a non-Amish boy, had been playing with fire and gasoline, and they both got severely burned on their arms. And the Amish boy went to John, and the non-Amish boy went to the hospital. And I saw those two boys there, and the one boy that went to the hospital was mutated pretty bad in the tissues, and John's boy, I couldn't even see a scar. Amazing, but that's nature. I would have used aloe baths. We should have aloe baths for burn patients. But the burdock leaves are incredible, although I didn't see it in your burn salve, John, but definitely burdock leaves and eat them, absolutely. The burdock is an edible plant and a very good, powerful plant for blood, liver, good stuff. Good stuff. Let me see here. This is going to be a real long series of videos, so I apologize for that, but I just got to try. Look at that big, thick pile. I just got to try to get caught up here because this is a lot of stuff here. This is a case addicted to pain meds. You know, when I worked in the hospitals, it was common to have an elderly person stop you and say, hey, doc, I got this pain in my back. Can you give me a prescription for pain meds? I mean, there's a sad state of affairs going on. And we're talking about, I mean, this country needs to become more like Portugal, that love their people and help their people instead of imprison them. How many people were in jail for drugs? We just don't get it. We still wear suits and ties. We still don't get it. It's about brotherly love and helping each other and understanding the human condition and the limitations having a human body puts on a soul. Help each other. But these pharmaceuticals, now we're seeing the power of what these things can do to hurt you. I took a lie detector test once for some employment issues, and he said, "You failed the test." I asked you, "Did you do drugs?" And you failed the test. And I says, "I don't do any drugs, at least then." And he said, "Well, no, this is saying that you're lying to me." And I had to think. I said, "Well, you know what? Ask it in another way, because I consider pharmaceuticals as drugs." And he asked it another way, and of course, then I passed. What a shame that we're in here. Detoxification is the only answer to all these things, because the residues from all these things, including nicotines and all these things, build up in the human body, creating this need to go back. It's almost like stimulation innervation. So we find that addictive need of tissue. And so detoxification has always been the answer to all these questions, including addictions. And so all these detox tanks should be truly detox tanks, where you're really getting into the lymph system. You're cleaning up the liver, you're cleaning up the lungs, you're cleaning up all these tissues, you're moving those lymphs. And that is the greatest way to deal with all of this. All the prisons should have raw foods. I mean, we should seek the health of people. Health of body, mind, and soul. Wow, this page is full of them. Wow, this page is full of them. Let me see. Here's Jeff here, man. I hope it wasn't too long. My question is, after getting off all that junk, I still felt pretty bad. My eyes are always red. Yeah, I mean, you quit out. I mean, you did a good job here, man. You're 47 years old, Alabama Jeff. You quit alcohol a year ago. You drank for 30 years. You quit low tabs 2 years ago. You quit cigarettes 3 months ago. You quit chewing tobacco 1 week ago. Alabama Jeff, man, you're a good dude. You know what, man? You're going to feel bad for a while. To give yourself a break. Don't be hard on yourself. You're going to be all right. I mean, you got to detoxify yourself, son. You'll be good. You know, you got a little history here. So you're going to have to take a while. Just what we were talking about previously, how that all runs together, you know. But, yeah, just spend some time, get your body cleaned out there, and you'll be okay. I got to thinking, I haven't heard from Lion Man in a while. But, Jeff, you'll be good, man. You really just have to. You got kidney stones removed. You know, you're too acidic. You beat up the kidneys a little bit, and so you have to get them, you got to make them healthy again, make them happy again. So you are going to have some Humpty Dumptys for a while. You'll be okay. You know, just keep working yourself out of this. Yeah, you look to Jesus, the church, and be strong in yourself. Jesus would say that to yourself. Jesus would tell you, be strong, Jeff. Be your own man. Be a God man, which it sounds like you are, and go after that detoxification in the raw. Jesus would say that too. I don't think Jesus would say that to you eating on a turkey leg, would he? I like your comment about Lieutenant Columbo. Too bad that guy died. I always liked that guy, you know. Kind of, you know, I do like that. But that's what we are. We go fishing. We go looking, investigating. Because we know that detoxification is pretty much going to cure everything. But we know we can use specific herbs for specific areas if we need to. We don't need to spend somebody's money in an area if we don't need to. Especially today when everybody's tight, well, then we want to go right to the areas we need to go. You do that anyway. I'm guilty sometimes. Some people say, well, shouldn't I take this? I said, you can if you can afford it. Because I don't care how many herbs you can take if you can afford it. But we will deal with a clinic where the affordability is predominantly low. I mean, we have our very wealthy people, but they don't. They're wealthy within themselves. Most of them really don't care about the poor. I don't care what anybody says. No offense to our clients that have a lot of money, but no one's offered to help these suffering people here, and I have to bear the brunt of it. So, okay, I don't mind. I'm here to that. So, but still, what we could get done with some funds would be great. It's like Kelly here. She has no money. So we're going to have to help her somehow. How could you turn her down? But I got to know, Kelly, you're going to do it. And not sit there and complain about it. Grab it. So what your past was? It's not the past anymore. It's the now. You know, I don't work with people that want to just play around and don't want to do that. Get focused. So this person lost their body odor a year ago, and then they went on the herbs and stuff, and the body odor came back, and they thought it might be the proteins. This is Mark. Proteins from the glandulars. Yeah, you could be that clean. That might be. But it's such minute amounts, I'm going to say that probably what you suspect, deeper detox. You're going to pull out these deeper proteins, this deeper putrefaction in the human body. Because some of these deeper levels, somebody's talking about getting a lot of green mucus out and everything else, and I'm going, yeah, baby. I mean, if you get clear mucus, okay. We get some yellow mucus, subacute stages, okay. Green mucus, now we're talking, right? Green, brown, black. Yeah, that's that locked-in mucus. If you don't get good green mucus out, you're really not getting that deep. So yeah, that's what we want. We want the nasty deep stuff out of there because that's sitting there chewing on the cells. So we want that deep stuff out of those tissues. But the surface stuff comes first, and then you dig deeper and you dig deeper and you dig deeper, you know. So some of these deeper bronchitises and pneumonias, I love them because you're getting deep in those lung tissues, and so you don't have to sit there and worry about a mass or lung cancer in the future because it is these deeper levels of congestion that's sitting there breaking down on the cells. So the deeper you go, the better relief you're going to have with this. And so don't be afraid. No one ever died of pneumonia doing the natural way. They only die from pneumonia. Should I say the treatment maybe of pneumonia? The people die from pneumonia is ridiculous. People come in here with double pneumonia all the time. No one ever died here with pneumonia. I never heard of such a thing. Hospitals, they die all the time. Ridiculous. Ridiculous. Debbie, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, thank you, Debbie. My love to you too, honey. Yeah, I know. One group treats that. You know, it's amazing. You know, even double-blind studies is ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous thinking out there. You know, clinicals. Get people on these herbs and see how they do. Play with the individual herbs and see how you do. If you do anything, at least they're on something. I am so happy at telling people that they hear. I can't get anyone to believe in your theories. They're not theories. They're facts. And you know what? Maybe they're not ready, sweetheart. Maybe you need to change your friends. But you know what? Sometimes people just aren't ready, and the bulk of the people are never ready. You know, generally you don't find God in a big fancy church. You generally find God somewhere when it's alone and quiet, and you finally have a realization, or in the weirdest of places. You know, it's just interesting that way. The masses generally don't run to God. You know, it's generally you're generally alone where you are, and a lot of us work in these remote areas. But that's why you're here. That's why you grow, is because God needs your light out in those areas of darkness. You know, because you are bringing that higher awareness, that consciousness out into the darkness here, and this is a really dark planet. So all of you are the light, and I love to see that. Every one of you are beaming, and I can feel your lights, and it's just, that's what we're here for. We're like flashlights for the Supreme Being. You know, bring the light in and get these souls up and out of their constipated habits and stuff. So, not to say that I don't have bad habits. Of course I do. We all do. But who cares? I mean, bad, good, you know, it's just a habit. Truth Seeker, my man. Thanks for your comment, bro. I have a cousin that is experiencing some knees with crackling joints and stuff like that. Some hard fibroids behind the nipple area, and varicose veins. What do you think, guys? and he's in his 20s. So what do we got going on here? You hit it right on the head here. Parathyroid, real important. Definitely parathyroid. What else is going on here? He's losing his calcium. And he's losing his calcium to what? Acidosis. And what system deals with acidosis? The lymphatic system. Right? So we know that your friend has weak kidneys, weak adrenal glands, weak parathyroid, losing calcium, not putting it back. His lymph system's not moving well. So yeah, you got it. Good catch. But remember the lymph always with this. And why are you losing calcium? And that again is going to always be to acidosis. Your body would have no reason to leach calcium out of itself for any reason, except to fight the fight. Because acids win, you lose. Just remember that. There's only two sides to chemistry. How difficult is that? Keeping it always simple, you'll work yourself out of these things. Malone Honey, thank you, sweetheart, for your comments. I appreciate that always, honey. Miss Honey, love that name. Lemonade. Your rosacea is gone. Crystal-like specks are coming out of my eyes. Tear ducts, ooh, interesting. Could be calcifications coming out of there. That's good. I'm still in pain, but keep going there, sweetheart. Really, keep moving, keep moving. Your rosacea is showing you that you're moving your lymph. Keep moving that lymph, keep moving that lymph, keep moving those acids out, and pretty soon the pain will go away. Any deterioration from the joints or anything will rebuild itself. Make sure that's happening, and just keep plowing the field. This is a process, not a treatment-based thinking. So you did good. Congratulations, Lemonade. You're really doing well. You're one of those fine ladies that wore the robe and you're getting your results. So keep going down that line. Real proud of you. Pat from Philly. Things are going pretty well. BP swinging like you said. Yep. My current issue is red, tired, watery eyes. Yeah, I mean, remember, it takes a while to get up in here and move this lymph system. It's a long way down to the kidneys, so hang in there, sweetheart. You really just take a while. Keep moving that lymph. You could use some eye wash and really promote some lymph drainage through the eye here. You might get a lot of mucus and matted eyes, but that's okay. Use that eye wash to help with those eyes, but just a reflection of the inner condition of the human body there. And so just keep moving your lymph system. Let me see here. Don't have any congestion field, but thanks to, yeah, you don't have to get rid of your dog. Clean your lymph system, sweetheart. You love your dog. This medical doctor recommends Mucinex. Now, I will say that Mucinex is touted as an expectorant. So I asked someone one day if they told me they were on Mucinex. And I said, is it truly an expectorant? Do you get mucus out? And they said, yes. So I don't know, you know. Expectorants is what you want, although I would use herbs as expectorants. The lung formula is full of expectorants. The 3-lung tea is full of expectorants. The lymphatic formulas are forms of expectorants. You know, fruits are forms of expectorants. So yeah, keep moving that out. You don't get rid of your dog. Get rid of your lymph. That's the allergy system. That's where you're sensitive there, and then you'll be good. Yeah. Or trading for a Shih Tzu that has human hair, and then you'll have problems like I do. Whew. Those guys are the most stubborn dogs, temple dogs. Most stubborn dogs I've ever seen. Thanks for your thanks for your comment here, guys. Referring back to the MS, my wife has a friend that has MS in a wheelchair. Could you explain better what typically goes wrong when people end up with MS and discuss in more depth the areas you focus on with MS? I am going to forward that other video to her. Good. I think she needs to see this. I think she has pursued some sort of stem cell therapy, but I think she is really interested in natural healing. Excuse me here. Okay. Well, we were talking to an MS case yesterday, and you can, I mean, this is a broad span. You can lump a lot of neurologicals in this, from Lou Gehrig's to MS to even maybe Parkinson's, all in this broad span. You've got brain lesions and you don't. Brain lesions can be any kind, frontal, anywhere. A brain lesion can start out as a genetic weakness in tissue and then exacerbated with acidosis, where the acids just break down these tissues. These are not difficult to regenerate, but you have to first understand that what breaks things down is the acids of the world. Acids are corrosive, and your body produces acids as 1, cellular byproducts, 2, parasitic byproducts. We just talked about uric acid and the byproduct of fungus, the fungal community. So there is a lot of acids produced internally. Just moving your muscles creates uric acid or lactic acid. So you have a lot of acids, phosphoric acids, carbonic acid. There's just a lot of acids that are created that are not all converted back to base, but must be eliminated out of the body. You can't run acids in the blood, so you know you have to have a distinct separate system. So when the lymph system backs up in the brain, it can affect the cerebellum. When the cerebellum's involved in a neurological case, you see the equilibrium problems, the dizziness, the equilibrium, the vertigo problems. It can also connect it to to other parts of the brain, but cerebellum is oftentimes involved. Also, you see the autonomic. Also, you see the autonomic. Not just the central nervous system, you see the autonomic. The autonomic is your limbs, your legs, your ability to move. That is your adrenal glands. You'll find low blood pressure. Adrenal glands is a recharging battery for the autonomic. The neurotransmitters are the recharging units. Low adrenals, if they're real weak, your blood pressure can drop down into the 70s, 80s, 90s. You don't hold a charge. You get fatigued a lot. Worms can also, excessive parasitic action on the body can deplete neural energy, and therefore you can have a lot of nerve responses neurologically. Toxic chemicals or metals like aluminum and mercury, they love the brain, sets up inflammation. Any acid sets up the immune response, breaks down tissue. So detoxification is always at the core of any problem, including and especially all your neurologicals. It's just that if you have neurological damage or nerve damage or weakened myelin sheaths, the fruit is at the top of regeneration neurologically. If you want to argue vegetables are better bone and muscle, okay, but neurological brain, vegetables will get you nowhere, and I've discussed cases before in these videos about putting people that I've gotten walking on fruits back on vegetables, and they lost their ability to walk. And I've discussed why. I'm not going to do that again here. It deals with the magnetic energy of fruits, and what magnetic energy is to a neurological case is everything. Energy is everything to the nervous system, and when the nervous system isn't getting the neurotransmitters, serotonins, or you're breaking down brain tissue, you're going to have a problem and you're going to feel it. Now, herbal-wise, not only are you going after the lymph system with the kidneys and the lymphs, and you're going after the GI tract, and you're going after that way. You're going to kill the worms and the parasites and the flukes and all the crap in people that way. Yes, yes, yes. Upper circ, brain, and nerve. Those two formulas I made specifically for all neurological cases, including spinal cord injuries. So I like those two formulas, upper circ and brain and nerve. Upper circ, I discussed this, I think, yesterday about the upper circulation shoves blood into the brain, oxygen into the brain, but the brain and nerve helps regenerate brain tissue and regenerate and strengthen neurons. And so very important that those two things exist with a high fruit diet, and she'll get out of that chair. That video is a lady that was chair ridden. So I can just tell you, and brain lesions will rebuild. I've never had a case you couldn't regenerate the brain tissue. I never had a case you couldn't repair brain lesions. I never had a case like that. Unless they stopped and without going through it and didn't tell me. So that's what you got to do. So she wants to get out of the chair, she can, but she's got to grab the bull by the horns. This is truly wearing the robe syndrome. When you're down that far, you've got to wear the robe and really get this. She needs to review all these videos, capture this, grab this, and wear it, and she'll get herself well again. If not, she can play with stem cells and all the other stuff she wants to. This is a good question now. This is about an emergency herbal kit. Well, since we have a lot of famous rock and rollers and people that travel around a lot, we had a voice box tee. We have all kinds of things for the singers and stuff out there. But we had been talking about an emergency kit for years. And we have just never done that. But those people that travel overseas and things, always thinking about malaria and all these things, an emergency kit would definitely be at least one lymphatic formula, lymphatic 1 at least. That's for snake bites, spider bites, all types of things like this. So at least one lymphatic formula would be part of an emergency kit. Highly recommend that. Plantain wouldn't be another bad herb on its own. Well known for rattlesnake bites and stuff like this. Great herb. Wouldn't be bad to have that baby right with that. Parasite M, always essential for traveling, for microbial involvements, malaria, things like this, always important. I'd probably take a kidney formula along with that. Antispasmodic, always important. For those with breathing problems or spasms or painful situations there, antispasmodic, excellent stuff. Bleeding, that's for internal bleeding or any type of bleeding. It's a homeostatic, so the bleeding formula would also be part of an emergency kit. So that would make a nice little emergency kit. At least one lymphatic, one kidney, Parasite M, probably in a separate plantain or another lymphatic. The bleeding formula and the antispasmodic formula would be excellent for a nice little emergency kit there for yourselves. I would always have them. Even a tincture of cayenne pepper wouldn't be bad, where I could just use a couple of drops if we need for breathing or what. Another thing you could add is lobelia. If you needed someone to throw up, you could give them, some couple of teaspoons of lobelia will do it. I used to get people to throw up like the Christopher syndrome when they have, extreme COPD and they can't breathe. You throw up, you'll compress the lungs and you'll get a lot of congestion out and you'll start breathing better. So there's a lot of tricks out there in herbal medicine. Neat stuff. Cinnamon is a good first aid. When people call me in trouble, I have to think, what do they have in their kitchen that they can use for first aid? From the cinnamons to the cayenne peppers, all these things, especially in dilating the blood system and everything else. You don't hit them real hard. Just a little cayenne pepper goes a long way, especially in liquid form. So yeah, that was a great question. I love that question. This video is going to have a long heading to it. Sorry about that. I probably should break off here in a minute and try to catch up on this another time, because this is a real long video for Chris and I want to get this up here. The alcohol in the tinctures, I tell you, there's no other menstruum. I thought about it. Vinegar, glycerin, no way, Jose. You want the power of the herb. I love the alcohol in the sense that it is a puller to the cells. So I do like that. Grape alcohol would be better. The glandulars, of course, are just what they are. They're desiccated raw glands. They're actually glands out of the cow. Mostly, there are some pork glands that some labs use. I try to use the bovine, the animal, the cattle. They're brought into this world for that purpose. They're organic, they're loved, and they're dealt with humanely, I think. But then you never know. So yeah, you never know. I think that's up to an individual's way they want to look at that. I don't view death as something that's dying. I believe we're here karmatically for things. I don't like the suffering, as I said before, but you can't kill anything. It only appears that way. You can't kill God. You can't kill anything here. Everything's atoms. Consciousness, you can't kill intelligence or consciousness. That's now. 2 months after having gallstones removed 7 years ago, I developed shoulder pain. Not sure if the surgery, it could be. you know, but the same reason for the gallbladder is probably the same reason for the shoulder pain. And what would that be? That'd be the lymph system, right? Because the lymph system is not only in the GI tract, it's all through you. So that same lymph system could be breaking down your shoulder that was causing the gallstones or the acidosis in the gallbladder. But it also could be neurologically, from the gut. Probably more from the bowels, though, affecting your shoulder. Even the colon could affect your shoulder. I have heard of gallbladders related to knees, but that gallbladder could relate to the shoulder neurologically. You'd have to ask an acupuncturist of that more than me, because I wouldn't know all those meridians and stuff, but certainly detoxification would be at hand right here for your case. Another question is in reference to sleep apnea. Well, again, sleep apnea, snoring and all that, you must clean that congestion out of the esophagus, the voice box, the sinus cavities. Really clean that lymph, get that lymph moving, and your sleep apnea will go away, and everything is good in Haytown. So Lone Wolf, get your lymph system moving well. You're going to have a little detoxification up here. If you have a weakness in the throat, you can get a sore throat, but just ride with that and get all this upper respiratory and head and sinuses cleaned out, and there'll be no snoring or sleep apnea. Thank you, LE5 Hitbag. Thanks for your comment there. Appreciate that. Talk about visual blind spots. I have had developed blind spots in my eyes a few years ago, and I'm only 24. Jesus, man, I tell you, I'm terrified to lose any more vision. I think it may be due to inflammation of the optic nerve. I'd really appreciate it. So if we said this was inflammation of the optic nerve, what would inflammation be from? Acidosis, right? The problem is that in your age, you're going to see those adrenals and kidneys, and you're going to see a lot of lymphatic problems. I've said this over and over again, and you guys are seeing this with the comments from these younger people, and my heart goes out to you what we've done. We got to fix this. So I will say that you definitely want to get with upper circulation and brain and nerve right off. Those are two things you want to do. Outside of that, you got to move your lymph system. I'd fix up my GI tract. I'd get my kidneys in order, bring up your adrenal glands, really get my lymph system moving out of there. Iworks can be a topical and an internal value to you. There is a formula with Visioplex. It does have raw eye tissue in it, but it's got bilberry. It does have some isolates in it, but if you're in trouble, then that's one you could take. It's a very powerful formula. It's called Visioplex. Got a lot of goodies in it. We use it when someone's at MACD and a lot of serious trouble here. There could be mucus floaters, again, could be. But I would really start strengthening the nervous system. I would start cleaning the nervous system, cleaning the lymph system, and regenerating the body there. That'll move right up in the head area into the optic nerve. You can use the Iworks topically and use it internally. That's all herbal. That'll help to move lymph and blood, and that's what you want to do. Inflammation, acidosis. Acids breaks down, tear things apart. I'd also probably think about my parathyroid gland. Look at your fingernails and really start strengthening the connective tissue in the body, just in case you're not getting any retina tears or anything like that, or detachments or anything breaking apart of tissue. You want to strengthen, 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 move those acids out so that strengthening process can happen. That would be very important that you do that. So you see how that's all important to move that out. Upper circ's going to actually push blood up into those eye tissues and up in the brain better, going to give you more alkaline chemistry up in there, oxygenate those cells, and at the same time you're going to move that lymph out of there. Brain and nerve will strengthen the optic nerve and strengthen the cells, and you'll be good, because that's the only direction you got to go in. At your age, you got to fix this, and then you won't have to worry about becoming blind, sweetheart. Okay. Well, this person said I had 2 pineapples that demineralized basically his teeth. I don't know if 2 pineapples could do that, but I will say that, like I said before, and a good catch here with you, that unless you pick a pineapple off a plant ripe, you're getting an acid food. This is the problem that makes it so discouraging, is that even the citruses are so good when they're picked ripe. This idea of picking unripe fruit has got to stop. I don't care if we have to truck every day. So what? We're becoming hunter-gatherers again just to seek good food. It's a shame. It's just discouraging every time I go to the grocery store. Yeah, England. Go England, but you need more sun. I agree. I got a lot of people from London. It just, I like the sun myself. Yeah, this is an idea where you said your medical doctor said fruit causes inflammation. I just want to puke. Medical doctor says something like that. That to me, that guy's showing his ignorance. That's amazing ignorance that's out there. But if he said acids causes inflammation, this guy might not be so bad. Oh, that's Miss Kelly. Kelly, you better learn that fruits doesn't cause inflammation. It gets rid of it. Tina from Ontario. Want me to explain the two sides of chemistry? The charge with the fruits and vegetables. Yeah, I know. When you're looking at alkalizing chemistry, it's a couple ways you're looking at it. You're looking at the ash that's broken down, the end result of digestion. What's the predominant chemistry in terms of the effect of that food? Is it base or acid chemistry? Or are you looking at the predominant chemistry that makes up the food being a base chemistry food or an acid food? You look at your berries, a good example. Berries are touted as being acidic, but it has alkaline ashes. I have to say this. I have to say that I wouldn't get caught up in that so much as I would just get caught up in the fact that I love my fruits as ripe as possible. Subacid fruits probably being the best category for most people now, but the citrus season's coming. You got to seek ripe citrus and keep going down that line. Things like the pineapples, I just wouldn't do them. The kiwi, I don't know. Some of the things that if something's too bitter, I'd probably avoid them. I say that, and yet lemons and grapefruit, very alkalizing, yet on the acid side, but breaks down with an alkaline ash. So I don't know. I would. I don't know how to answer that. There's the realm of acid and alkaline is like the realm of male and female. There's all levels of hormones and steroids that dictate levels of male and female, and same with acid and alkaline. So I don't know, maybe I will spend more time on that. I don't want to do it right now, though. Mary Catfish. Is that your little one, honey? Cute. I apparently have a lot of issues with kidneys and adrenals. Yeah, if that's you, I'm looking at you definitely. If that's your picture, you definitely have kidney and adrenals. RSDS, and also figured that there was more. My research, I did have adrenal fatigue. Absolutely. You can see you fight the weight and other things with that, honey. So definitely get up there. That little baby's going to be fighting the same thing, I can tell. Super light. Well, if your budget's super light, this is where the Heal-All tea comes in. It's why I made it there. Take a tea. Teas are the cheapest way of using herbs, so I'd use a Heal-All tea and then get the diet. You got to buy food anyway, and then do the diet and use the Heal-All tea. I'll let you know when we get set up more. I do have a foundation, but again, people are not willing to donate, so we'll see. Hopefully, some of these projects will come to light, and we'll then have funds to truly help those that really want to help themselves, and then the funds and the herbs and everything will be available to you, and everything is really good. So I'm working on it. We're giving as much as we can. We're really trying. Andrew, 20 years old, had chronic acne and depression for the past 2 years. I know the skin is the third kidney. Good man. Yeah, 100% raw melons, apples, pears, and grapes. Good man. He's seen some improvements in the last few weeks. The acne's made you self-conscious. Yeah, got some scarring from that. This is where you really hit it, man. You really dig in, and you hit it, and you hit it, and you make your body regenerate the scar tissue. It'll eat it back up like bone does, and just regenerate yourself. Might take you a while in those deeper areas there, but move those lymphs. That's exactly what acids do. They scar you. They break you down. So you really see you got to move that lymph system, and you're good. You're already doing it. You're doing a great job here, Andrew. Keep digging in there. Your skin will to refurbish yourself, but remember, somebody's got to love you for who you are, not what your skin looks like. But regenerate your skin, my friend. You will. I use the skin formula to help you there. Move that lymph system. Get those adrenals and kidneys. Your steroids will come up. Everybody will help you there. Your body will eat up that scar tissue. Might take a while, but even wrinkles, we see those wrinkles toning right out of there. Make sure your parathyroid's working, though. Make sure all the connective tissues is strengthening, and everything will strengthen and tone beautifully. The best facelift you could get. And I'm going to have to cut off here in a minute so I can write all this up for Chris. It's going to be quite a long one here. Apologize about that, but just had to catch up here. Thank you, May Freaky, on your comment about that. Some people just act ungrateful. They don't understand the years and all that, and so I don't know what to say about it. Thanks for your comment, NNJ, about the Dr. Oz thing. Yeah, I could be in better shape myself. You notice Dr. Oz has got his wrinkled skin and stuff. He might look skinny, but he definitely has some connective tissue tone issues. But okay, you know, everybody's got their issues. But I like his show, but he's still got that medical doctor part. But I love his show. He's got some good things. I tape it, and I don't get to watch it too much, but I like some of the things. But remember, we're detoxifying, so we're a little stricter in some of those things. But life is so fun. Nature's so full of goodies. And I opened up my health food stores. I had several of them years and years and years ago. I had fun. It was like, oh, what's this? You know, I love when we manufacture good stuff. You know, I mean, I could sit there and create some formulas that knock your socks, and I keep working on them to knock your socks off. And it's just the beauty. And some of these manufacturers, I do see good things on the market, you know, and it's like, oh, I just love all this good stuff. We should be into the period. And these pharmaceutical companies, you got to turn yourself around. It'll stop all these massive lawsuits, and we'll start healing people. Come on, see who can make the finest stuff. That should be the race. I can make better stuff than you. Not egotistically, but that's the race. Who can make the better stuff, the more powerful stuff that's healing, not causing more problems. This case has been suffering from hair loss for years. He's 25. Oh my God. Also have discoloration of the teeth. Well, guess what? You're not moving up in the head area. You're not moving your lymph system, my friend. You got to get, and look, your eyes reflect kidney weakness. Good man. You picked that up, so really get those that lymph system moving here. You really got to move on this, obviously. I'd like to pick it up another notch, introducing the herbs. The tinctures, well, again, you're going to go with, I'll say, lymphatic 4 liquid. Do stomach and bowel number, whatever you need. Use lymphatic 1 capsules. You know, do the parasites for a month or so. Make sure you clean all that out of you. Do the GI, of course, do the GI. Upper circulation, yeah, you could. That's definitely going to help hair growth back, accelerate that for sure. But move that lymph. Upper circ is a good take. You definitely want to do that, but you want to definitely move that lymph out of there. Real important that you would do that. Individual tinctures. I like what you said. My thoughts are lymphatic 4. Good front spleen. You could, but unless you're having spleen problems, your lymph should clean that out pretty good. Save your money. Kidney and bladder 1, absolutely. I'd go to 2 kidney formulas at first. Liver gallbladder, do that for about a month. That's all you really need. You could shift with the skin formula too. Parasite M, about a month's all you really need. Endocrine gland, sure. If you have low blood pressure, go to the adrenals. Upper circ, perfect choice. Good idea here. Good take here. You could definitely add the stomach and bowel. Clean up those bowels. Very important to clean up those bowels. I'm going to cut it off.
I want to know if you can take Julie for half an hour, Sisypho, at the phone consult. She need to talk to me.
Yeah, but I'm going to be another 5 minutes closing this off and stuff. Okay. So, yeah, I might be able to do that. Okay, so we have someone that is hurting and needs an appointment. So what I'll do is I'll cut off here. But yeah, you got a good take on that. I will try to round this off. I still got a fair amount here. This is from the 23rd, so I really hope that that I can get caught up here and get you all done there. So, with all the blessings there are to you guys and all the love here, thank you for enduring this really long video. I hope you appreciate the eyes. I really wanted to look at that, and the question just really tripped me into that. So maybe we'll do a little more of those. We'll see how it turns out. I'll view that and see how we did on that. So I hope that was helpful, and I hope I've answered some of your questions. And keep it up. I just really love what you're doing. I love your enthusiasm, and pass and spread the word and help heal these people up, guys. You're doing a good job. You guys, the way you're picking them up, you're doing good. Never forget the stomach and bowels, the kidneys, the lymphatics, and really go after that body well and get high up on those fruits. You're doing really well. May the blessings be, and namaste to you all, and have fun today and this week, and I'll try to get back as soon as I can. Thank you so much. Thank you.